Hey guys, Super Godzilla Final Wars here, and today, you guys, I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys who have watched my Dragon Warrior series on my original YouTube channel, you guys have been asking, well, how did I get the idea to make Smaug not just Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion' biological father, but also the king of all dragons? And not toothless. Well, here's a little story. So, and this is also like an alternate universe for where Smaug did not die and also so since a lot of people have been theorizing that Smaug might join Sauron. Well, since this is more like a crossover between, you guys know the whole story about the crossover thing. So, moving on. So, Smaug had no interest on joining Sauron. Instead, had Smaug continued to live in the Lonely Mountain. For years, dwarves have been trying to retake the Lonely Mountain, but they kept on failing with the assistance of men, wizards, and of course, elves. So, he continued to live inside the Lonely Mountain until he started hearing rumors of a dragon king. The Alpha Dragon. The dragon that controls them all. So, Smaug, after hearing this, decides to leave the Lonely Mountain for a few days to go check out and find this so-called king of dragons. He's also been hearing rumors that this dragon is great in power, strong, mighty, and well feared. And the last time Smaug recall, he is the only dragon that is well feared and the most strongest and the most powerful dragon. So hearing this gets his attention really easily. So Smaug leaves his kingdom and goes to find the so-called King of Dragons. It doesn't take him long to find the King of Dragons, which that case ends up being the good Bewilderbeast that you guys see in How to Train Your Dragon 2. So Smaug encounters the Bewilderbeast and discovers that he is the so-called King of Dragons. So, Smaug decides to challenge the Bewilderbeast for dominance, of course. And you can say, hey, Hiccup and his Dragon Riders and his mom were well aware about this little battle. Well, and you can kind of say, this was Tilis's first time encountering Smaug. So Smaug shows up and starts to challenge the Alpha Bewilderbeast. And so, the two dragons started to fight when the Alpha Bewilderbeast tried to reason with Smaug, but Smaug had none of it, since he kept on saying that he was the greatest, chiefest, and greatest of calamities. He's the great dragon. And now hearing a Bewilderbeast trying to take that title away from him and being so-called king of dragons, Smaug decides to change that. So Smaug fights the Bewilderbeast, and the Bewilderbeast puts up a good fight, but Smaug is far more older and more experienced. So he ends up overthrowing the Bewilderbeast and kills it. And ends up declaring himself the new king of dragons. And you could say Drago's Bewilderbeast ends up showing up as well, along with Drago's dragon army. They end up Drago's Bewilderbeast, after seeing the fight, he's not too sure if he wants to fight Smaug anymore, because Smaug is a very tough dragon. But Drago keeps on ordering him to attack Smaug. And so Smaug accepts this new challenger, and even though he was like, seriously, I just became the alpha and already someone's challenging me? Anyways, he accepts the challenge because if he doesn't, he'll just be a weak alpha then. The fight lasts for a while until Smaug decides to have enough of it and just decides to start going easy on this guy. He uses fire breath and blasts off. Well, he uses fire breath to blind the Bewilderbeast. He uses teeth-like swords and claws-like spears. He manages to break the tusk of the Bewilderbeast. He roars at him saying telling him to rather submit to him, or he can end up like his friend. And of course, Drago's Bewilderbeast submits and just goes away. So Smaug, now being the king of dragons, orders his entire dragon army, except for Hiccup's dragons, because they refuse to follow him. But Smaug does not really care. Smaug does not really care if a few dragons don't choose to follow him or not. He really does not care. All he cares about is that now he has an empire. And he ends up doing his little alpha call and ends up calling all the dragons from the north to come to his aid. And so, all the dragons show up and they all submit to Smaug. He now becomes the greatest dragon to ever live. Not only the greatest dragon, he's also now known as the king of dragons. It's the greatest to ever live. Feeling so proud of himself, Smaug now has an army. Now the Lonely Mountain is even more dangerous than it was before because it's just swarming with dragons, left to right. There's just dragons everywhere. So if anyone wanted to sneak into the Lonely Mountain, they're going to have to find a better way to go inside of the Lonely Mountain because it's just swarming with dragons. And Smaug is, of course, the king of the dragons. For the past few years, Smaug continues to, of course, be proud of himself because now he's the king of the dragons, but he's also feeling kind of being lonely. And after knowing that most dragon alphas leave behind a legacy, leaving someone to take their place, mainly their offspring. So Smaug, not fearing of death because he has armor that's stronger than any other dragon in existence, he doesn't really fear death, but he does want to leave behind a legacy. So he meets a female dragon by the name of Lava Fang. Lava Fang ends up becoming Smaug's wife. She ends up giving him 10 eggs, but 3 only survived. And those 3 end up being the 3 dragons in the Game of Thrones series. Those 3 dragons end up being, of course, Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. Now, if you're wondering what happened to Lava Wing, why wasn't she mentioned, or where was she during the events of the Dragon Warrior series? Where was she? She was, unfortunately, since she had not strong, her armor was not as strong in comparison to Smaug's armor, but she was killed by a group of men. And that very same group of men took Smaug's, killed almost all the eggs except for 3. And those 3 end up being Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. Smaug, enraged at this, kills all the people who killed his wife, and destroyed his nest, and orders all the dragons to hunt them down, to find their village, and burn it to a crisp. Smaug is just enraged at this. For the past few years, Smaug remains alone and deeply depressed until one day he hears rumors of 3 dragons who are just like him, but smaller. This gets his attention because the only dragons well known to have very strong fire breath and very tough armor, the only dragon that is well known to have that is Smaug. And Smaug, knowing that all of his kids were killed, but he realized that 3 of them were gone. And then he realizes not all of his kids have been killed. And as a matter of fact, 3 managed to stay alive for so long. And those are his kids, Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. And you guys all know who their adopted mom is. And especially Drogon, who is the older one is the older brother between his, siblings. He is the future king under the mountain and king of all dragons. And so he sends Drago from the Dragonheart movie 4 and 3 to go find Drogon and bring him back home. And just like that, that's where the Dragon Warrior series really began. So I hope you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to have May Culture with Excellence. And tell me, what do you think about this? And do you want me to explain about Drogon and Severus' relationship? If you want me to, then leave it in the comments below. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day, and peace out.